The widow's proposal. The alien colony was silent, its towers jagged spires against the broken horizon. Once it must have been beautiful, a city of crystal and light, but now only ruins remained. Cracks split the ground, flames flickered in the distance, and the faint hum of dying machines whispered through the void. Superman descended slowly, his boots settling onto scorched stone. His cape, crimson against the ash, fluttered in the wind. He had heard the call, faint and desperate, a beacon sent from a civilization on the brink of extinction. He expected to find only echoes. Instead, he found her. She stood tall, far taller than him, her silver-toned skin gleaming even beneath the dust. Her eyes burned gold, molten fire framed by hair like liquid metal cascading down her back. Though her world lay in ruins, she carried herself with an air of regality, unbroken, unbowed. "You came," she said, her voice a low echo that resonated in the cracked walls around them. It was not relief, not gratitude. It was expectation. Superman nodded, cautious. "I followed the distress signal. I thought no one survived." "I survived," she replied, stepping closer. The ground trembled slightly beneath her towering form. She moved with a predator's grace, each gesture measured. "And for my people to live again, I require more than survival." Her golden gaze locked onto his with an intensity that startled him. "I need a husband." Superman blinked, momentarily caught off guard. "What?" Her lips curved, not in mockery, but in certainty. "I need a husband," she repeated, her tone both commanding and strangely intimate. "And you need strong offspring." The words hit him harder than any physical blow. His mind reeled. This wasn't a request born of affection, but a declaration of necessity. Her people were gone, their legacy hanging by a thread. And she had chosen him, not for who he was, but for what he represented. "You misunderstand," Superman began carefully, lifting a hand in quiet refusal. "I didn't come here for—" "For what?" She cut him off, her eyes narrowing, her presence looming over him. "For sentiment. For pity." Her voice sharpened, then softened again, flowing like silk over steel. "No, Kal-El. You came because you are more than Earth's savior. You came because deep inside, you know your duty is greater than one planet." Superman's chest tightened at the sound of his Kryptonian name on her lips. He hadn't spoken it to her, yet she knew. She tilted her head, a faint, knowing smile playing at her lips. "Your blood carries the strength of a world that no longer exists. Mine carries the will of a people burned away. Together, we could forge something new, stronger, greater." Superman stepped back, uneasy. "I can't. I don't make choices like that. Not out of desperation. Not without," he faltered, unable to find the right words. "Not without love," she teased, the word drawn out, both playful and sharp. She leaned closer, her golden eyes burning inches from his own. "You cling to your Earth morality, to fragile notions of right and wrong. But what is love to a dying galaxy? What is morality to extinction?" Her words unsettled him because, in a way, they rang with truth. His entire life, he had believed in preserving hope, in choosing compassion. Yet here was a woman who framed survival as a test, legacy as a responsibility. "This isn't about me," he said firmly, though his voice carried hesitation. "It is always about you," she countered, her tone rising, commanding. "You carry within you the power of worlds. You bear the title of savior. Do you think your responsibility ends at Earth's atmosphere? That your destiny stops where your comfort begins?" Her hand, massive and graceful, brushed against the ruined pillar beside them. She leaned in closer still, lowering her voice until it was almost a whisper. "I ask not for pity. I offer a legacy. I offer you the chance to become more than you are." The silence between them thickened. The ruins hummed faintly as if listening. Superman felt the weight of her challenge pressing into him. Not just physical attraction, though there was that too, undeniable and raw, but something larger. A demand that tested the very core of who he was. Finally, he stepped back, his jaw set, eyes burning within a conflict. "I came here to help, but what you're asking, it isn't simple. It isn't just survival. It's a choice that changes everything." The widow's smile deepened, half flirtation, half command. "Then perhaps that is exactly why you were brought here. To face not only war, but desire. Not only duty, but destiny. The wind howled through the broken towers. Superman stood frozen, his heart torn between the weight of Earth's morals and the pull of something greater, something terrifying. And the widow's eyes, golden and unyielding, stayed locked on his, waiting for his answer. Clash of cultures. The ruins of the alien colony stretched endlessly under the broken skies. Superman hovered above the cracked streets, his cape whipping in the sulfuric wind. The widow followed, her long stride unnaturally graceful for her towering frame. Her silver eyes glowed with something beyond mere survival, expectation. "On my world," she said, her voice carrying like a storm through the hollowed city, "a widow must secure the future of her people. Alone, she is seen as incomplete. With a warrior at her side, she is eternal. That is why I chose you." Superman descended slowly, boots touching the fractured stone. "I'm not here to play into rituals I don't understand," he answered, steady but uneasy. "I came to help survivors, not be claimed as one." The widow tilted her head, studying him with a mixture of amusement and command. "You say claimed as if you are prey. Yet on Earth, do your people not seek bonds, families, strength? You hide your longing beneath duty." The word struck harder than he admitted. Clark Kent, the man under the cape, rarely allowed himself to imagine a life beyond responsibility. But hey, this alien woman challenged him with raw directness. He folded his arms. "Even if you believe I fit into your traditions, our values don't align. I can't just accept because you demand it." Her smile deepened. "Then let me show you how different our values truly are." With a gesture, the widow led him into the remains of a grand hall. Towering pillars lay broken, but faint glyphs still glowed along the walls, recounting ancient tales of unions between warriors and widows. The carvings depicted massive figures standing side by side, their combined strength shattering enemies. "This is not seduction, Earth hero," she declared, her tone echoing with ritual authority. "It is survival. Our people once thrived because widows bound themselves to the strongest. Without such bonds, bloodlines weakened, offspring withered. But with warriors like you, they soared." Superman traced a glyph with his hand, feeling the faint hum of alien energy. His heart pounded, not from attraction alone, but from the cultural weight behind her words. This wasn't just about her desires, it was about an entire civilization's identity. "You want me to see this as more than personal," he said finally. She stepped closer, the ground trembling faintly under her height. For the first time, her commanding tone softened. "I have lived long enough to bury those I loved. My people expect me to choose again, to ensure legacy. Yet you are the first to make me hesitate, because you are not of my world. You are more." The tension hung between them, electric and unspoken. Superman felt caught between two roles, savior of Earth and reluctant participant in an alien rite. "You must decide," the widow pressed, her eyes never leaving his. "Will you remain the hero who saves galaxies but denies their bonds? Or will you embrace what lies beyond duty?" He looked away, cape brushing the ruined floor. The moral dilemma gnawed at him. Duty versus desire, culture versus conviction. Was this about resisting temptation, or about confronting the limits of his own humanity? The widow's voice dropped to a near whisper. "You fear that saying yes means weakness. But to us, it means strength. Your strength." Silence filled the hall. For the first time, Superman couldn't find an immediate answer. And in that silence, he realized this was no longer about rejecting or accepting her. It was about facing a question bigger than either of them. Could one man truly carry the weight of two worlds, two cultures, two destinies? The widow watched his hesitation with a knowing smile. "Tomorrow, I will ask again," she said. "And tomorrow, you may find your answer less certain than today." Superman's jaw tightened. He could feel it, the pull of something far more complicated than attraction. It was destiny, wrapped in cultural ritual, pressing against his sense of self. As he stepped back into the open air, the ruined colony spread before him like a battlefield of choices, and he knew the true clash was not between him and the widow, but between the man he believed himself to be and the role the universe now demanded of him. The bond beyond worlds. The colony's night was unlike Earth's. No stars twinkled above, only drifting clouds lit faintly by alien auroras that shimmered over the broken skyline. Superman stood at the edge of a collapsed balcony, watching the horizon burn with faint crimson light. He had fought wars, stopped invasions, even held entire worlds together, but never faced a choice quite like this. Behind him, the widow's footsteps echoed lightly across cracked stone. Even in ruins, she carried herself like royalty. "You didn't sleep," she said softly, though her voice still carried the resonance of command. "Not much of a sleeper," Superman admitted, his gaze fixed forward. "You are troubled." It was not a question. He turned, cape flowing with the wind. "You asking me to be more than a hero. You want me to be part of something I don't fully understand. On Earth, choices like this, they are personal. Hey, they feel like history." The widow's silver eyes glimmered, reflecting both sorrow and determination. "Because they are. Every union shapes the fate of my people. But do not think you are without choice, Earthman. The choice is always yours." For the first time, her voice carried not demand, but vulnerability. She stood close enough that he could see the faint marks of age, battle, and loss etched across her alien skin. Her grandeur wasn't only in size or power, it was in the weight she bore alone. Superman studied her, his chest tightening. "You've carried this responsibility for too long, haven't you?" She laughed softly, almost bitterly. "I have carried it since before your world first lit its skies with fire. I have buried lovers, outlived enemies, endured the silence of empty holes. To lead is to be eternal, but eternity is heavy." A silence fell between them, not uncomfortable but charged. Superman knew loneliness. Despite Earth's adoration, he had always been apart, alien, outsider, savior. Now, standing before her, he felt a strange kinship. Two beings set apart by duty, bound by expectation, aching for connection yet fearing its weight. "You see," she continued, stepping nearer until her towering form nearly shadowed him, "I did not call you only for strength. I called you because you know what it means to stand alone." Her words pierced deeper than any blade could. Superman's jaw tightened. He had always resisted admitting that truth, even to himself. The widow's expression softened into something almost tender. "We could bear it together." For a heartbeat, the galaxy seemed to hold still. The hero's instinct to retreat warred against the man's longing for understanding. He felt her nearness, her presence vast yet strangely familiar. "Where I come from," he said carefully, "bonding isn't about legacy or expectation. It's about trust, about choosing someone not because you must, but because you want to." Her silver eyes locked onto his. "Then choose me because you want to." The challenge in her voice was undeniable, but so was the plea. Superman closed his eyes briefly, searching himself. He thought of Earth, of Lois, of the endless duties that chained him to one life. And then he thought of the widow, alone among ruins, carrying a people's weight, daring to ask him to share it. When his eyes opened, they held no simple answer, only resolve. "If I walk this path with you," he said, "it won't just be for your people. It will be because I see you, not the tradition, not the role, but you." A slow, regal smile curved her lips. "Then perhaps there is hope, not only for my people, but for us." The auroras brightened above, bathing them in shifting hues of silver and crimson. They stood in silence, closer now, the tension no longer purely cultural but undeniably personal. The widow extended a massive, battle-scarred hand. Superman hesitated only a moment before placing his own within it. Her grip was firm, warm, grounding. Two worlds, two destinies, bound not by command, but by choice. For the first time in years, she lowered her head, not in defeat, but in reverence. "Then let our bond be written beyond worlds." Superman's heart beat steady as he answered quietly, "Beyond worlds." And though the ruins still smoked, though the galaxy still demanded more of him, he knew something had shifted. The savior of Earth was no longer only Earth's. His bond now reached further, into the unknown. The night held them in its strange light, and the universe, for once, seemed to exhale.